Have you ever wondered why someone falls head over heels for you, like they're drawn to you by some invisible force? Maybe it's not your charm, your looks, or even your personality. What if the real reason lies deep within their soul? Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, revealed that people fall in love with you for only two reasons, and they're not what you think. It's not about fate or chemistry, it's about the hidden parts of their psyche you unknowingly awaken. Imagine meeting someone who feels like they've known you forever, or someone who can't take their eyes off you, but you're left wondering, why me? Carl Jung's groundbreaking ideas about projection and the Animus explain this magnetic pull. In this video, we'll uncover these two profound reasons why people fall in love with you, and how understanding them can transform the way you see relationships forever. From real-life stories to practical insights, this video will show you why love is less about soulmates and more about the soul's journey to find itself. So, stick around, because by the end, you'll never look at love the same way again. Hit that play button, and let's dive into the mystery of attraction with Carl Jung as our guide. What if the reason someone falls in love with you isn't about your dazzling smile or witty charm, but something far deeper, a gap in their soul that you unknowingly fill? Carl Jung, the visionary psychologist, believed that attraction isn't random. It's a powerful signal from the unconscious, drawing people toward what they lack in themselves. This is the first profound reason people fall in love with you. You represent something they're missing. Let's break it down and see how this works in real life, so you can understand the magnetic pull of love through Carl Jung's lens. Carl Jung called this phenomenon projection. Each of us carries an inner world, a mix of strengths, weaknesses, and buried desires. Sometimes, we suppress parts of ourselves, like creativity, confidence, or vulnerability, because life, upbringing, or fear has pushed them into the shadows. When we meet someone who embodies those suppressed qualities, it's like a spark ignites. They become a mirror, reflecting what we've lost or haven't yet embraced. That's why love can feel so intense. It's not just about the other person, it's about the part of you they bring to life. Take Sarah, a 32-year-old accountant who's always been the responsible one. Her life is structured, predictable, and safe. She's great at her job but feels like something's missing, a sense of freedom, spontaneity, maybe even joy. Then she meets Jake, a free-spirited artist who lives for the moment. He's everything she's not: expressive, unpredictable, and unapologetically himself. When Sarah's around Jake, she feels alive in a way she hasn't in years. Her heart races, and she's drawn to him like a moth to a flame. But here's the kicker: Sarah isn't just falling for Jake. She's falling for the part of herself. She's buried the part that wants to dance in the rain, laugh without restraint, and chase dreams without a plan. This is projection at work. Jake represents the freedom Sarah craves, but hasn't nurtured in herself. Her attraction to him is her psyche's way of saying, "This is what you need to become whole." Carl Jung believed that we're drawn to people who embody the qualities we've suppressed or never developed. A shy introvert might fall for a bold extrovert. A logical thinker might be captivated by someone who wears their heart on their sleeve. It's not just opposites attract, it's the psyche seeking balance. But here's where it gets tricky. Projection can create a powerful connection, but it can also set you up for heartbreak. Why? Because when someone falls in love with you for what you represent, they're not always seeing the real you. They're seeing an idealized version, a symbol of what they need. Sarah, for example, might put Jake on a pedestal, thinking he's the key to her happiness. But when Jake shows his flaws, maybe he's unreliable or struggles with commitment, the illusion starts to crack. Sarah might feel disappointed, not because Jake changed, but because her projection couldn't hold up against reality. Carl Jung warned that relationships built solely on projection can become dependent or fragile. If the person doesn't recognize that what they love in you is something they could develop in themselves, they might cling to you to complete them. And when you can't live up to that impossible role because no one can, the relationship falters. This is why so many intense romances fizzle out. The spark was real, but it was built on an unconscious need, not a true connection. Let's look at another example to bring this closer to home. Imagine Alex, a driven entrepreneur who's always in control, never showing weakness. He meets Maya, a yoga instructor who radiates calm and emotional openness. Alex is smitten. Around Maya, he feels a peace he's never known. He thinks, she's perfect, she's everything I need. But what's really happening? Maya represents the emotional vulnerability Alex has locked away. His attraction isn't just about her, it's about the part of himself he's ignored. If Alex doesn't see this, he might rely on Maya to fix his inner turmoil, which isn't fair to either of them. So, what's the lesson here? When someone falls in love with you, it's often because you reflect a piece of their puzzle they haven't yet solved. You're not just a person to them, you're a symbol of what they're missing. But this isn't a one-way street. The same thing happens when you fall in love. Think about it. Who have you been drawn to in your life? Maybe it was someone who seemed fearless when you felt stuck, or someone who brought warmth to your guarded heart. Those attractions reveal what you need to nurture in yourself. Carl Jung's insight gives us a powerful tool for self-discovery. Instead of chasing someone to complete you, you can use these moments of attraction to grow. If you're drawn to someone's confidence, ask yourself, how can I cultivate that in myself? If someone falls for your kindness, maybe they're craving more compassion in their own life. Love becomes a mirror, showing us where we need to evolve. And when you start working on those missing pieces, you don't just build better relationships, you become more whole. Before we move on, let's make this personal. Have you ever been drawn to someone who seemed like your opposite? Maybe they were bold when you were shy, or calm when you were chaotic. That pull wasn't random, it was your psyche pointing you toward growth. Share your story in the comments, we'd love to hear it. And stick around, because in the next part, we'll dive into the second reason people fall in love with you: how you awaken a powerful, unconscious image in their soul. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant, almost electric connection, like they walked straight out of your deepest dreams? That overwhelming sense of "I know you" isn't just a fluke, it's the second profound reason people fall in love with you, according to Carl Jung. You awaken a powerful, unconscious image in their psyche called the Anima or Animus. These are archetypes, inner blueprints of the feminine or masculine that live in every person's soul, shaped by early relationships and cultural ideals. When you match this image, you ignite emotions so intense they feel like destiny. But Carl Jung would say it's not fate, it's the psyche at work. In this section, we'll unpack this fascinating concept with real-life stories, practical insights, and Carl Jung's wisdom to show you why this kind of love feels magical but can be a double-edged sword. Let's dive in. Carl Jung's theory of the anima and animus is one of his most compelling ideas. He believed every man carries an anima, an unconscious image of the feminine, crafted from his earliest experiences. Maybe his mother's warmth, a sister's strength, or even cultural icons like Marilyn Monroe or Wonder Woman. Likewise, every woman carries an animus, her inner vision of the masculine, shaped by her father, brothers, or society's symbols of courage and power. These aren't just preferences. They're emotionally charged templates, woven from memory, longing, and the collective unconscious shared pool of human experiences and symbols. When you meet someone who fits this archetype, it's like a key turning in a lock. The attraction feels immediate, irrational, and almost otherworldly. Let's paint a picture with a story. Meet Michael, a 35-year-old software engineer who's always been drawn to strong, independent women. Growing up, his mother was a single parent who ran her own business with fierce determination. That image of a confident, self-reliant woman became Michael's anima. Fast forward to a networking event where he meets Lisa, a sharp-witted lawyer who commands the room. The moment their eyes meet, Michael feels a jolt. She's not just beautiful, she feels familiar, like she's the woman he's been searching for his whole life. He thinks, this is it. She's the one. But Carl Jung would argue Michael isn't just falling for Lisa, falling for his anima projected onto her. Lisa matches the blueprint his psyche has carried since childhood. This is why animus-driven love, feels like magic. The connection taps into something ancient, like a half-remembered dream. It's why people describe it as love at first sight or soulmate vibes. But here's the catch. When someone falls for you, because you awaken their anima or animus, they're not always seeing you. They're seeing a sacred fantasy, a psychological ideal built long before you entered the picture. And when the real you, complete with flaws, quirks, and contradictions, starts to show, that fantasy can crack. Carl Jung warned that this kind of love, while powerful, can be fragile if it's built on projection rather than reality. Let's stick with Michael and Lisa to see how this plays out. Their first few months are electric. Lisa's confidence and ambition make Michael feel like he's found his missing piece. They talk for hours, and he's mesmerized by her drive. But as time passes, Lisa's human side emerges. She's not always the unshakable woman he imagined sometimes. She's stressed, vulnerable, or needs support. Michael feels a pang of disappointment. This isn't the Lisa I fell in love with, he thinks. But the truth is, he didn't fall in love with Lisa. Fell for the Anima he projected onto her. When her real self doesn't match that perfect image, the relationship hits turbulence. This is the danger of Anima, Animus-driven love. It's intense but can crumble when the illusion meets reality. Now, let's look at another example to make this hit home. Meet Emma, a 28-year-old graphic designer who's always been drawn to charismatic, adventurous men. Her father was a larger-than-life figure, a world traveler with a knack for storytelling. That became her animus, the masculine ideal she carries. When she meets Ryan, a travel vlogger with a magnetic personality, it's like he's stepped out of her dreams. Their first date is magical. Ryan spins tales of hiking in Bali and surfing in Morocco, and Emma feels like she's in a movie. She thinks, he's my person. But as their relationship deepens, Ryan's flaws surface. He's restless, sometimes flaky, and struggles with commitment. Emma feels let down, not because Ryan isn't amazing, but because he can't live up to the godlike animus she projected onto him. Carl Jung's insight here is a game changer. The Anima and Animus are powerful forces, but they're not the full picture. When someone falls in love with you because you awaken their inner archetype, they're seeing a version of you filtered through their psyche's lens. You're not just a person. You're a symbol, a spark that lights up something deep and unconscious. But no one can embody an archetype forever. Real love means seeing the person beyond the projection, embracing their imperfections. And this works both ways. When you fall in love, you're likely projecting your anima or animus onto someone else, chasing a quality your psyche craves. So, how do we handle this? Carl Jung believed that understanding the anima, animus, is the key to healthier relationships and personal growth. Instead of getting lost in the fantasy, we can use these attractions as a roadmap for self-discovery. If you're drawn to someone's courage, ask yourself, how can I nurture that courage in myself? If someone falls for your empathy, maybe they're longing to develop that quality in their own life. Love becomes a mirror for growth, not just passion. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey to become whole by integrating the parts of yourself you've projected onto others. Let's get practical. Think about someone who's swept you off your feet. Maybe they were bold, creative, or deeply compassionate qualities that felt almost mythical. That pull wasn't random. It was your anima or animus at work. For instance, if you're a woman who's always drawn to bad boys with a rebellious edge, your animus might reflect a need for freedom or assertiveness you haven't fully embraced. If you're a man captivated by nurturing women, your anima might point to a longing for emotional connection you've suppressed. These attractions are your psyche's way of saying, here's what you need to work on. Here's one more story to drive it home. Rachel, a 40-year-old teacher, has always been practical and reserved. She meets David, a poet with a soulful, almost mystical aura. From their first conversation, Rachel feels like he's unlocked something deep inside her. That's her animus speaking, shaped by years of reading romantic literature and craving a more poetic life. But when David's idealism clashes with Rachel's need for stability, their connection frays. Carl Jung would say this is Rachel's chance to integrate her animusto, nurture her own creativity and depth, rather than seeking it in David. The magic of Carl Jung's ideas is that they transform love into a journey of self-awareness. When someone falls in love with you, it's not just about you, it's about the archetype you've awakened in their soul. And when you fall for someone else, it's a chance to learn what your psyche is trying to teach you. By recognizing these patterns, You can move beyond fleeting fantasies and build love that's real and grounded. So, let's make it personal. Have you ever felt an instant, almost mystical connection with someone? What quality in them lit you up? Drop your story in the comments, we'd love to hear it. And stay with us, because next, we'll tie it all together and show you how these two reasons reshape the way you see love forever. To really grasp the power of the anima, animus, let's explore another layer. These archetypes aren't static, they evolve as we grow. Carl Jung believed that our anima or animus matures alongside us, shaped by life experiences. For example, a young man's anima might start as an idealized image of a nurturing caregiver, but as he matures, it might shift toward a partner who challenges him intellectually. This is why the people we're drawn to change over time. They reflect the evolving needs of our psyche. Consider Sophie, a 25-year-old marketing assistant who grew up watching her father fix everything around the house with quiet confidence. Her animus became an image of a dependable, problem-solving man. When she meets Tom, a mechanic with a calm, can-do attitude, she's instantly drawn to him. Their early dates are blissful, but Tom's practical nature starts to feel limiting when Sophie craves deeper emotional conversations. Her animus is evolving. She's beginning to value emotional intelligence alongside dependability. Carl Jung would say this friction is a sign of growth, pushing Sophie to integrate those qualities into herself. This dynamic also explains why some relationships don't last. The person you loved at 20 might not fit the archetype you carry at 30. That's not a failure, it's your psyche signaling new areas for growth. Carl Jung's concept of individuation encourages us to see these shifts as opportunities. Instead of blaming the other person, we can ask, what part of myself is ready to emerge? Let's add one more story. James, a 45-year-old architect, grew up with a glamorous, artistic mother who filled their home with creativity. His anima is a vibrant, expressive woman. When he meets Claire, a painter with a bohemian spirit, he's enchanted. But Claire's unpredictability starts to clash with James's need for order. Through a Jungian lens, this tension is a call for James to embrace his own creative side, rather than seeking it solely in Claire. To keep you hooked, let's make this interactive. Think about a time you felt an unexplainable pull towards someone. What was it about them that felt so right? Was it their confidence, their warmth, or something else? That's your anima or animus talking. Share your thoughts in the comments. It's a great way to reflect and connect with others on this journey. Carl Jung's genius lies in showing us that love is a mirror for the soul. When someone falls for you, you're often a reflection of their anima or animus. And when you fall in love, you're chasing a piece of your own psyche. By understanding this, you can turn attraction into a tool for growth, building relationships that are real, not just projections. Stay tuned for the final part, where we'll bring it all together and show you how to use these insights to transform your love life. So here we are, at the end of our journey through Carl Jung's profound insights on why people fall in love with you. It's not just about your charm or chemistry, it's about the deeper dance of the psyche. You're either the missing piece they crave, filling a gap in their soul, or you're the spark that awakens their anima or animus, a powerful unconscious image they've carried for years. But here's the real magic. Love isn't just about finding the one. It's about discovering you, the parts of yourself waiting to be seen, embraced, and grown. Carl Jung's wisdom turns every attraction into a mirror, showing you where your soul wants to evolve. Next time you feel that spark with someone, or notice someone falling for you, pause and ask, what's this teaching me about myself? That simple question can transform fleeting passion into lasting growth. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden forces of love, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Jung Psyche Hub for more mind-blowing insights on psychology and self-discovery. Drop a comment below. What's one thing you've learned about love today? Or share a story about a connection that changed you. We can't wait to hear from you. Let's keep exploring the psyche together. See you in the next video.